What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm back with another Straight Talk phones, the Samsung Galaxy A03s. It is a lower end phone from the Straight Talk family that is actually the younger brother of this one that I picked up here, the Samsung A23 5G, which I did a video on. Feel free to check it out. And this being the A23, I actually really enjoyed this phone for what it was. The 5G, the cameras were pretty good. The screen on this pretty good. It has the the face unlock and the fingerprint unlock. So I mean, this was actually a really good phone. So I like this so much. I figured let's take another step down and see if Samsung is able to match what they put together for the A23 in this. But this is the very, very low for what I've seen at my local Walmart. This seems to be the lowest of them. So it has a 6.5-inch HD plus display. I think this is 720p, up to 40 hours of talk time. So I mean, really, really good battery life according to this. Triple 13 megapixel, 2 megapixel, 2 megapixel camera, and then a 5 megapixel in the front. So has plenty of cameras. Maybe a similar setup to this. We'll see. 32 gigabytes of storage, which I assume is expandable. Yeah, 1 terabyte expandable. So I mean, having that is really nice. Having the expandable storage. The 2.3 gigahertz octa-core processor. I don't know which one yet. We'll find out. The Wi-Fi calling capable, and then everything inside is right here on the box. So let's go ahead and check out the inside of this and see if it's any good. All right, so here is the Samsung Galaxy A03s. Once again, in its amazing plastic presentation for us. We have the phone right on top as usual. It says 6.5-inch HD plus screen, 32 gigabytes of memory. Then we have some smaller print in there that you can kind of see. Full rectangle measurement diagonal. It tries to justify the size. That's fine. Let's go and take the thing off here. And underneath we have paperwork and just the cable, which is kind of surprising. It is USB to USB-C, so that is a positive thing. But there is no charging brick. Usually with these lower end phones that are this cheap, they give you a charging brick. And then you also do get your SIM removal tool, which is super useful. Inside of this little box is the phone itself. So I'm curious to see if it's going to match the design of its older brother here. And it feels that this one has like a texture on it that is much more just in like lines across the bottom. I can't get this thing off for the life of me. Come on, get the sticker. Okay, sticker's been removed. This one seems to be more textured than the A23, which was much more smooth. This thing has like these tiny ridges that you can kind of see from an angle. And I actually kind of prefer the way that this one feels, just because it feels like it has better grip than this one, which is, like I said, more slippery. So I kind of like that. It has the 3 cameras set up, just like the other, except this one has a single modular, which I believe was like the old Note 20 style. And then it does seem like it has a fingerprint, I'm guessing, right here, because I could feel like it has that divot the same way the A23 has the divot. So that's kind of nice. We have the volume rocker. We have microphone. Looks like SIM card, micro SD is over here. And then the USB-C speaker. And of course the headphone jack that is long gone on more expensive phones. The battery is not replaceable, so even though it feels like you'd be able to pull the back off, you cannot. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we get. All right, I got this phone all set up and ready. It does take a little bit of time. It is a little slower than some of the other phones I've unboxed. But I mean, for the price, it's kind of what you expect. Some of the things that I want to quickly just point out here is that this does not seem to go past Android 13. And it does seem like it stopped at the May update. So I don't know if this will be getting any more updates as far as any, whether it's security updates or actual OS updates. It's probably not going to. considering this came out in 2022, I don't think it's going to be getting any more going into 2025. So just know that if you do buy the Samsung A03, there is going to be a bit of an issue as far as that goes. So as long as you're okay with that, and maybe you only get this as like a temporary stopgap, I would say this is a good stopgap phone. Maybe you keep it for a year, but I don't think I'd make this a main phone for more than that. There are definitely other phones that I'd recommend in that, like the HMD Vibe, which does have Android 14, and in my opinion is generally a better phone all around, especially considering the prices are the same. Anyway, this phone has a Unisoc T606. It doesn't really mean much, but whenever I do see the name Unisoc, I don't necessarily associate it with high quality, fast processors like I do Snapdragon. So just be aware of that as well. You're going to have some limitations on this phone. You're going to see a little bit more stuttering and slowdown than you might expect on other phones like this, but it does work, don't get me wrong, and let's kind of talk about that. So the screen on this is 720p, and it's okay. It's not a bad, awful thing, but it does have the fingerprint scanner and the face unlock. So if I just click it and then you can see it immediately. It's pretty quick too. I mean, it's it's fairly fast. And unlike the other Samsung, the A23, this one you can kind of get your finger to grab this power button on the side, whereas the other one's more flush. This one kind of sits just high enough to where when you rub it, you can feel it kind of grabbing your finger a little bit. So that's a little annoying, but the screen does seem to be fine. It's not great. Once again, you compare it to something like the HMD here, and we're talking about some competition. I think the screen looks better all around. The colors look nicer. The clarity looks nicer. And once again, for the same price, this one definitely seems like it has a better screen. This one does have a teardrop, whereas this one has the cutout, so you can tell it's more modern. And the chin on this one is bigger. You can see kind of at the bottom that the chin on this one is bigger than on the HMD Vibe. But it does look just fine. I mean, if you're just kind of trying to get a phone that is going to work, this is just fine as far as display goes. So I have no real problem with that. It does only have 3 gigabytes of RAM, so don't expect to do a lot of multitasking without things closing in the background on this phone. So just be aware of that as well. And just some of the other things on this is it does have, the triple camera setup in the back. So I don't exactly know what the quality is quite yet. I will take some pictures and we'll check it out a little bit. But first I want to check out the sound and the way that the video looks on this. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's quickly check out these speakers on here and see how they sound.
You're the one I'm calling. You're my escape from my darkness. But when the sun is shining, I'll be out here riding. If you, I don't need to look no. You are the one I'm certain.
Yeah, this one has a single bottom firing speaker as well. And what's weird about this one is that I could feel it vibrating through my finger. So unlike some of the other ones, this one, it kind of tickles your fingertip when you put your finger over it. So it is very close to the speaker grill. So I definitely feel that vibration, but it is fine overall. You're going to hear the sound. I don't think this is the loudest one I've heard. So I will say that if you're going to be somewhere a little bit noisier, maybe pack a pair of headphones or some Bluetooth headphones, but I wouldn't expect this. Like, if you were working, like when I, used to work fast food, we'd put it inside one of those little containers and let it bounce in there so we can kind of amplify the sound. This is going to need that because this is definitely not going to be loud enough, in my opinion. So I'd say give it a thumbs up as far as sound goes, but it's not going to be the loudest. So just be aware of that when you're purchasing this phone. All right, next let's check out the video quality and sound on this and see kind of how it looks. Welcome back to the video. Today I'm going to check out another budget phone. This guy is only $30, so it's in the same ballpark as this TCL Ion V from the Straight Talk family, $999. So if you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. But this is in the same vein where it costs about the same amount of money. This is the Blue View 5. I just kind of came across it and figured. You know what, honestly, it actually doesn't look too bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm fine with this quality of video, to be honest with you, especially for YouTube. I think it actually looks fine, and it seems to run just fine. I mean, I'm having no issues as far as, let me just scrub a little bit through. Let's start with music first. Yeah, I was kind of able to scrub through, and it seems to kind of take a few seconds, but it does pick back up. So I mean, not awful. I mean, that's always the switching sides thing, and just kind of turning it one way or another. Definitely it's a little slower there, but other than that, it's fine. I think this would actually be fine to watch video on. I have no issue with it whatsoever, so I'll give it a thumbs up on video. It actually doesn't look as washed out as I was expecting, like it was on the Blue View 5, which was very, in my opinion, washed out. This actually doesn't look all too bad. So I would say gaming on this phone is not as bad as I was expecting it to be. I played games like Ordia, which, is really a good mobile game to kind of just try out. But you could tell it's definitely made for lighter phones. So, I was able to move around without any issue. The colors looked fine. The sound was great. And it's just one of those casual games that you can kind of pick up and play. And even on a phone like this, which is, lower end, it won't have an issue. So if you're just kind of waiting at the doctor's office or something, you are definitely able to kind of play these lighter games. I also tried Alto's Adventure, which is another lighter game that is mobile first, and it played without any issue. The visuals had zero stutter that I saw. The sound was clear, and it was just a nice experience that, once again, will give you something to enjoy while you're kind of just sitting and waiting. And then I played Asphalt 8, which played surprisingly well for the phone. But then I got to one part where it just kind of wouldn't let me click next. And I don't know why, but I mean, it did look good otherwise, like outside of that one issue that I don't know if it's just a bug that I'd come across or what, but it definitely put a bit of a damper on my ability to move forward in that game. So proceed with caution when buying this phone as far as gaming goes. It does only have 32 gigabytes of storage. Yes, even you could put games on SD cards, but then you're kind of subject to the read-write speeds there. So I definitely always recommend, if you're going to game, do it directly on the phone. So just be aware that if you are going to do some heavier gaming on this, you're probably run out of space, one, but two, you're gonna not maybe have the best experience in the higher end games like Genshin Impact. I don't even know if Genshin would fit on this, to be honest, as far as size goes. But if you're just gonna do some light gaming, that's what I'd recommend. Something like this for is light gaming. If you wanted something with a little bit more, once again, the HMD, $40. This one does have 64 gigabytes of storage, so you do have double the amount for the same price, and I think that is a big deal, but you do lose a camera on the back, so yeah. So let's talk cameras on this thing. This has the triple camera setup with the 13 megapixel, the 2 megapixel, and the 2 megapixel again, so I'm assuming they're telephoto and one might be depth, but they're not the most high-end cameras. I mean, 13 megapixels is fine, I guess. I did take some pictures, and I mean, they range anywhere from, pretty darn good in my opinion. Like, this one with the yellow flowers, I thought it actually looked really cool. It focused really well on them. And then others were a little bit more blurry, and I think it's just because maybe you have to be really, really still with this camera. I think there could be, just a little bit of lag or something with it. But definitely want to hold on to this camera tightly when you're taking the picture. Otherwise, most pictures seem to come out just fine. Viewing it on the screen on the phone is not always going to give you the most accurate idea of what came out. But I mean, once you transfer it to like computer and stuff and you kind of look at them there, you'll see they're not bad overall. I mean, I wouldn't take this to be, up there with other Samsung devices, especially the higher end ones, like the Galaxy Notes or even the Galaxy Fold here. But this is definitely not something that is going to disappoint you if you just need to do a quick photo here and there. But just be aware you want to be a little bit more steady-handed with this when you are. The low light does seem to be probably, I would say, not the best. It's definitely, you're going to see, more noise in the photo and whatnot. So, but for $40, the fact that this takes photos with, triple camera setup is actually pretty freaking cool. So I would say not bad all in all, but if you can, maybe bump up to the 23 5G. I actually was surprised by how much I enjoyed the camera on this. This one will get you through. I think this one will be more enjoyable. So that's just what I think about that. But otherwise, yeah, thumbs up. I mean, it works.
This is the front-facing camera. Doesn't look very good. I have one source of light, and it doesn't seem like it picks it up very well. So, I don't know.
All right. So, what are my overall thoughts of the phone? I would say that this is a darn good phone for $40, but it is competing with phones that I would say are better for the price, like this HMD Vive. I think that this looks better. I think it feels better. I think it feels better built. I think the screen on this is better. I think the speakers on this are better. So I would say if I had to choose for the $40, and this one has Android 14, this one seems to not be getting more updates. This only has One UI 5.1, whereas the A03 5G actually got 6.1.1. So you can see that there is a bit of a difference in the actual home screen and such. So let's just go with the easiest thing to look at here. You can look at the more modern, updated 6.1.1 versus the older 5. So you can see that they are not the same. And this is running older Android version 13. This is running Android 14. So, I mean, this, in my opinion, would be a better buy. But, I mean, if you're just looking for something to get you through, there's nothing wrong with being a version or two behind, as long as you are aware that you should upgrade at some point, just because of the security updates as well. I don't really know, once again, how often these will be getting them, if at all, because I think the last one in the settings says May. So that is a bit of a problem versus the HMD, which seems to be more consistent at the moment and newer as far as all that goes. But I will say Samsung is Samsung. So if you enjoy Samsung phones and you enjoy One UI like I like One UI, you won't have any issue. It does have the Google Now screen, but you can see it's a little touch slower than you probably want it to be. It will work though if you kind of scroll slowly, but faster you scroll, it does take a beat to catch up to it. And once again, 3 gigabytes of RAM, so expect to be closing apps frequently. But otherwise, this is not a bad phone. I think the screen is fine. I think that the camera is fine. It's serviceable. I think that for gaming, it will work, but 32 gigabytes is 32 gigabytes, so don't expect to be able to play some of the newer, bigger games on this. But if you want to play some of these smaller, lighter games, this phone should not have an issue, like Oreo or Alto or Subway Runners or whatever the hell it's called. But it did run Asphalt 8 also, so Asphalt 8 did take a lot of space on this though, but it did run it, so you can play up to that, maybe a little bit further if you want. But I would say that this is not a bad phone for the money, but I will also say that I don't know what the update cycle is going to be like moving forward. I think that they're pretty much done supporting this phone because I'm not getting any more updates that I can find. I've already updated the phone as far as I can go, whereas this one is running Android 14. And this came out years ago. So definitely something to think about. But for $40, I don't think it's a bad deal. I think that HMD is a better deal. And I think that if you can spend the money, I think you should absolutely jump up to the A23 5G. I think I was able to nab this for like $69 off the website. I think it said $150 right now, but it really depends. Go to your local, Walmart, see what they have it set up for. But if you can get this for under $100, I think that the Samsung A23 is a fantastic phone. I like a lot more about this, and it's up to date. So just my 2 thoughts on that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Sub if you want to see more of it. I do have other Straight Talk phones that I'm working through. So hopefully you guys will be seeing that. I also have some other unlocked phones and some other stuff in general. So get ready. Hopefully you guys will be seeing that soon. So I really appreciate you. Take care. Bye.